He is the host of his own radio show on the All Patriots Media Network. He is also the host of The Conversation with Tony Katz on pjtv.com. This is the most interesting part about Tony Katz, though. He's a Tea Party organizer in Los Angeles, California. How does that work? Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Katz.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a hand. I didn't do anything. I got lucky enough to be under here. Will this thing hold? Can I move this thing? Do I have to be behind the podium? I got people out in the rain. I got to be behind the podium? Forget that. Much better. Hello, how are you? Welcome, Iowa. How did you get a Jewish kid born in Brooklyn to show up in this? You know, the last time I had the chance to speak on stage where Governor Palin was speaking, it was Madison, Wisconsin on tax day. It snowed that day. It's raining today. You don't think Sarah Palin can win the presidency? She can change the weather. It is a pleasure to be here from Los Angeles. Greetings from all of those associated with the Tea Party in Los Angeles. Yes, there is a Tea Party in Los Angeles. Have no fear, Iowa. You are not alone. But I come before you today, certainly I'm curious to hear what the governor's going to say, as are all of you, as is the entire nation. They sit through the rain to see what Sarah Palin has to say. They don't go to see what Barack Obama has to say ever. You can't get NASCAR drivers to show up to the White House. Because within Sarah Palin, within the Tea Party, there's a value that immediately connects. It is the value of something we call the four basics: the Constitution, capitalism, fiscal responsibility, and smaller government. These values work everywhere they are applied. Every single time they are mentioned, they get applause. Every single time they are put into practice, we have a more vibrant nation. We have a successful nation. We have a free nation. And we have the greatest nation in the history of the world. And as a guy who does a radio show, as a guy who does a few shows over at PJTV, The Conversation, Katz and Cruiser with Stephen Cruiser, if you know the name, who is lucky enough to be able to voice the Tea Party position on major cable outlets, isn't it astounding, isn't it amazing for all the things that we are told about the Tea Party? We've heard the litany of them already. That the Tea Party manages to thrive and survive. Thousands of people will sit in the rain. We change the course of history because we decide elections in America. We own the cultural and political debate in the United States of America. And yet they still call us names, and they still, in the mainstream media, in the press, in the progressive press, still attack us. Why is that? Why is it, with all of their cloud cover, why is it, with all of their ability to reach out, they can't defeat us? The reason is because what we value here in Iowa, in Los Angeles, we have people from Texas. We have people from Nebraska. I know we've got some people out from California. What we value is not based on where we grew up. It is not based on what our family was. It is based on the recognition that it is better to be free than to not be free. It is based on the recognition that while we may need government, we do not need government to take care of us. We can take care of ourselves. The media, for all of their talk and all of their bluster, and it doesn't matter if they're on MSNBC or move over to current TV, it doesn't matter if they're in the newspapers, it doesn't matter if it's a blog, will continue to attack and continue to not understand that we own, quite literally, the political and cultural debate in America. Allow me to prove this to you, and allow me to prove this to you. The 2010 elections were our victory, not the victory of the Republican Party. That is heresy in some corners, ladies and gentlemen. But its reality is the same, because it is the Tea Party that pushed forth the agenda that politics as usual is over. It's over. That the value cannot be based on the thesis of, well, that's the way it's done. To hell with that's the way it's done. We want it done our way. And there is no one running in this 2012 election who can even dream of not being involved, not getting the help, not getting the support of we, the Tea Party. You simply cannot get elected in the United States of America without us. And it's not because of money, and it's not because of access to the press. You see a lot of conservatives out there in the press, don't you? We own all the television stations. We own all the news. We've got Simon. That's, by the way, the best Iowa accent I ever heard on Simon. Is that fantastic? But part two is this cultural conversation. That the Tea Party has quite literally changed the culture in the United States of America. We have created the conversation that is necessary to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We recognize that those aren't words, those are actions. And every day we wake up to ensure that we secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. That it involves our civic responsibility and opportunity to be engaged in how the nation gets shaped. This is not an anomaly. This is the norm. But I was fully aware that we controlled the cultural debate in America last summer. Last summer, there were a series of commercials that came out on television. Madison Avenue, paying attention. The first was a short-lived commercial for Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. No, they're not a sponsor, but they should be. And Kraft Macaroni and Cheese did a very strange commercial engaging a housewife, a mom, and Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson and macaroni and cheese. No, there is no way. You know, if it was maybe something in Virginia, sure. You could see it. You could get away with it. But it didn't make sense. Why is it there? Then, maybe one of the best commercials I've ever seen in my life, right up there with Where's the Beef? See, I'm checking the age of the crowd. Not everybody knows that. That's how young the crowd is here today. For those of you who think we're just a bunch of old people, take a look around. You're screwed in future elections. But there was a commercial for Dodge. And in this commercial, you have the redcoats coming out through brush just like that. They're in lines, they're in two lines, they're moving forward. All of a sudden, from out there comes a scout, a young kid, can't be older than 15 years old, running through, and he's speaking to the commander. That's where they are. That's where the American forces are. That's where the Yanks are. And the commander gives the order, and the first row of redcoats gets down on one knee, pulls out their guns and aims. The second row, right on top, they're ready to go. They're ready to fight. They're ready to take on those Yankees, those rabble-rousers. A moment of silence happens, and what comes through the brush? A Dodge Challenger driving as fast as it can, an American flag sticking out the back, and who's driving that car? George Washington. And the tagline was, America got a couple of things right. Cars and freedom. Madison Avenue is interested in the money. I'm a capitalist. Thank God they are. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's not a bad word. If they tell you capitalism or free market's a bad word, tell them they're liars to their face and tell them Tony Katz said so. Madison Avenue is targeting somebody when they place an ad, ladies and gentlemen. And they were targeting the Tea Party. They don't target an audience because that audience is small. They target an audience when they put out a commercial because the audience is wide. Now, maybe they targeted the Tea Party audience because we're the ones who actually have jobs. But I come here today to tell you that what we are doing is working even in corners you don't ordinarily see. It is behind the scenes working. It is in the hearts and minds of every American, even those who can't stand us, even those who truly, truly hate us, cannot deny the reality that we control the political and cultural debate in America. You want more proof? Look around. That's a major rainstorm that came through. Take a look at the skies, a little clearing coming, but we may see another band of rain. And someone else who has broken through the political and cultural debate in America is Sarah Palin. That's not, so for the record, that's not an endorsement. That's a reality. That's the reality. And reality is very frightening for those people who engage in fantasy, meaning the hardcore leftist progressives. That reality drives them crazy. That reality is killing them. That reality is going to destroy them in 2012. They will be crushed. They will be replaced. That's not a bad term. It is we doing this work. It is not one person. It is not one woman. It is not one man. We do this. The thousands of us here today in the rain, the thousands of us who gathered in the snow a few months back, and the unbelievable numbers of us who will do what it takes to prove to America that we cannot go down this path, that the Tea Party message of the Constitution, capitalism, fiscal responsibility, and smaller government is the only message, and we will be victorious. I'm Tony Katz. Thank you.